Welcome to this week's Ancient History News. My lead story is about a rare lunar phenomenon that will take place in January 2025 and will give archaeoastronomers the opportunity to study alignments with the moon that are present at Stonehenge. I then discuss the discovery of a 4,300-year-old tomb in Egypt belonging to a royal official and his priestess wife, how machine learning is digitising inscriptions from the undeciphered Indus Valley Script, and what fossilised plants at an Iron Age Philistine temple site reveal about that culture. The builders of Stonehenge may have incorporated lunar alignments. Stonehenge is known for its astronomical connections. Over the years, archaeologists have found evidence that its axis was purposefully constructed to align with the sunrise on the summer solstice in the northeast and the sunset on the winter solstice in the southwest. A few years ago, a rather interesting paper put forward the hypothesis that Stonehenge was even more than that and actually tracked a full solar year, with 30-day months divided into 3 10-day weeks represented by the Sarsen circle and the extra 5 days of a tropical year represented by the trilithon horseshoe. Now, according to an article in The Guardian, archaeologists and astronomers will take advantage of an upcoming rare lunar event to see if Stonehenge was also aligned with the moon. The lunar standstill is when the moon reaches its furthest point to the north or its furthest point to the south within a month. Due to lunar precession, the declination at a lunar standstill varies over a cycle of 18.6 years, with the extremes referred to as minor and major lunar standstills. The next major standstill will take place in January 2025. Archaeologists and astronomers will study the monument during the major lunar standstill to test the hypothesis that the 4 station stones were positioned to track it. Only 2 of these station stones remain, but it's known that 4 existed originally and formed a rectangle. These station stones do appear to align with the moon's most extreme positions, which may or may not be coincidental. Over the years, cremated human remains have been excavated from the ditch and bank of the henge, as well as the Aubrey holes, pits inside the ditch that probably held wooden posts originally. Most of these are in the southeast, which aligns with the extreme southerly rising point of the moon. So it may be possible that the builders of Stonehenge carried out burials in a part of the monument related to the lunar phenomenon, and that they then eventually memorialized this event in stone. Observations can be made over a reasonably long period of time, since before and after a major lunar standstill, the moon still rises and sets much further to the north or south than usual. English Heritage is planning to live stream the moonrise at its most southern point and will host a series of events centered on the phenomenon. English Heritage will also be working with the University of Colorado and the US Department of Agriculture's Forest Service to compare the lunar alignments at Stonehenge with Chimney Rock, an area that was inhabited by the Chaco culture. Tomb of a priestess and royal official found in Egypt. Archaeologists have discovered a tomb at Dahshur in Egypt that dates back 4,300 years. Dahshur is a UNESCO World Heritage Site located 33 kilometers south of Cairo. The complex dates to between the Old Kingdom and the Middle Kingdom and consists of several pyramids, including the famous Bent Pyramid, as well as a large royal necropolis. Many excavations have taken place at Dahshur over the years. The latest discovery is of a mud brick tomb called a mastaba and was made by an Egyptian-German archaeological mission affiliated with the German Archaeological Institute and led by Dr. Stefan Seidelmeier. The remnants of wall paintings inside the tomb show donkeys threshing grain, ships sailing the Nile, and a marketplace. Hieroglyphs say that the tomb belongs to a man called Seneb Neb Af and his wife Idet. Seneb-Neb-Af worked in administration at the royal palace, managing tenants, and his wife was a priestess of Hathor. The tomb was dated based on its design, its pottery, and the inscriptions to the late 5th or early 6th dynasty. Its burial shafts will be excavated in the next season to see if any mummies can also be found. Machine learning is helping to digitize texts from the Indus Valley Civilization. The Indus Valley Civilization was a vast Bronze Age urbanized society in the northwest of South Asia. Contemporary with ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, the cities of the Indus Valley Civilization included drainage systems, water supplies, and buildings of varying sizes, and are thought to have accommodated anywhere between 30,000 and 60,000 people. The Indus Valley Civilization was also engaged in long-distance trade, had uniform weights and measures, and employed skilled artisans. One of the most mysterious aspects of the culture is its written language. The Indus script is made up of around 500 distinct symbols and has been found inscribed on thousands of objects, including seals, pottery, tools, weapons, and bronze and copper plates. These inscriptions are relatively short, so it's not clear if the signs represent a written language system or not. Although the Indus script is mostly undeciphered, experts agree that it's meant to be read from right to left. It's possible that the symbols represented merchants' marks or accounting tokens rather than a full language. If the symbols were the written expression of a spoken language, then each symbol may have been a grapheme representing a sound, or may have been a pictogram. To help researchers in their quest to decipher the Indus script, a professor of computer science, Debasis Mitra, and his graduate student assistant, Deva Aturu, are developing a machine learning algorithm to digitize the script. The team used an automated script recognition system to extract graphemes from 1,000 photographs of seals. One drawback is that machine learning systems are normally trained by having large amounts of data inputted, and in the case of the Indus script, the data is limited. However, the team are working to overcome this obstacle. The project is funded by a grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. Mitra also plans to develop a system for archaeologists to take photographs of inscriptions with their phones that feed directly into the digitized database. Plant analysis reveals Philistine ritual practices. A new study published in the journal Scientific Reports provides new insights into the ritual practices of the Iron Age Philistine culture. The biblical Gath was one of 5 major Philistine cities and is known from multiple written sources. Archaeologists have identified its location with the modern-day site of Tel Es-Safi, where they found 2 successive temples on the banks of the Ha'ela River. The excavations in this temple area have recovered a plant assemblage of 2,000 macrofossils from 52 archaeological contexts. Since the density of plants within the strata was low, it would appear that most of these plants played a symbolic role, with small amounts having been brought to the temples for rituals. The presence of staples, weeds, and chaff show that the plants were processed on site as part of the cultic practice. Grinding stones, a clay oven, and food-serving vessels excavated from the temples further support the idea that the plants were processed and consumed on site. Wild plants found in the altar and amongst votive vessels were probably used as decoration rather than for the rituals. Interestingly, some of the plants suggest connections to the ancient Greek world. It also appears that alcoholic beverages were prepared from them, and some were imbibed for their hallucinogenic properties. Let's take a look at some examples from the paper. The lilac chaste tree, crown daisy, and silvery scabious are widespread in the Mediterranean, but their presence at Gath is the earliest known example of ritual use of these plants in the region. Up until now, the chaste tree was only known to have been used symbolically in ancient Greece. Greek writers referred to its medicinal properties, and its fruits were also found in the late Bronze Age Uluburun shipwreck. It was connected to the cults of Artemis Asclepios in Sparta and the cult of Hera on Samos, so it's possible that at Gath it was used for the worship of a deity in a similar way to how it was used in ancient Greece. Crown daisy was used as a food and for symbolic reasons in ancient Greece. The ancient Greek physician Dioscorides wrote that the leaves of crown daisy were eaten as green vegetables and that it had medicinal value. He also wrote that garlands made of crown daisies were used to decorate statues of the goddess Artemis and were worn by people as protection against witches and magic. Bitter vetch was recovered from the courtyard and inside a temple. In ancient Greece, it was used as food and as fodder and was known for its medicinal properties once again. In the 2nd century, it was used as an incense offering in the tabernacle of the 1st and 2nd temples in Jerusalem. Poison darnel grows as a weed in wheat fields and is a source of the hallucinogenic ergot fungi. The authors of the paper suggest that mood-enhancing plants, as well as regular foods, were used as ritual offerings during the harvest, something that is also thought took place in ancient Greece within cults of agriculture, such as at Eleusis. Such ideas are not new, with hallucinogenic plant oils having been found in ritual chalices and incense altars in other Philistine temples before. Strainer spout jugs, also excavated from Gath, suggest the consumption of fermented foods and beverages. Overall, the authors of the paper conclude that the Philistine ritual practices were connected to spring, agriculture, natural cycles, and water, and may have had a relationship with the cults of Hera, Artemis, Demeter, and Asclepios. That's it. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Thank you to my patrons and channel members, and I'll see you next time.